Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Joe Martin virtual stage race out on Zwift. Today, we have the individual time trial out on the Bologna time trial course. We got Dave Toll next to me. I'm Nathan Guerra. Let's just go ahead. We're going to jump right on in, everybody. Dave, this is going to be a fast and furious time trial, and we've got some of the best professional racers, pro Conti, or actually around the whole world, jumping into the race with us today, Dave.
Yeah, Nathan, thank you. I agree. It's going to be absolutely thrilling out here. We've got a women's race to look forward to a little bit later, but right now let's focus on the men. As there's going to be a lot of riders in North America that are going to be meeting Christopher McGlinchey for the first time here, Nathan. He races for the Vitas team. Yeah, that's the guy, isn't it? Certainly, as we're very familiar with a lot of the top Americans. Again, we'll get into Joe Martin, but Nathan, I see we already have riders out on course. It's going to be a unique format for a time trial. So let's talk about it. Drafting is turned off. It's almost like you're getting virtual time checks from the other riders from you in real time constantly because they are time trialing, Nathan. There's no drafting.
Yep, so we do have 8 kilometers on the day today total, but there is a monstrous climb in the middle of this. Essentially, it is all out. And you can see in the upper right-hand corner, that's what we're going to be getting for a course profile out here today. You can see that wall of a climb that's in front of them. They're going to start in on that at about, I think, 4 or 5% gradient. It bumps to 8, and then we have these chicanes that get all the way into the 11, 12, 13%. I mean, it becomes just this absolute wall toward the end of it. And essentially, you have a TT on the flats here. There is no drafting. Again, we're going to say that as many times as we possibly can. Drafting is absolutely turned off in game right now. And these riders are TTing with no draft, and they can see what the other riders are doing as far as how much time they're getting on each other.
Yeah, Nathan, it's such a unique format. Again, this is the Joe Martin stage race. It was one of the races that was impacted by the COVID-19, and now we move into the virtual edition. So this race is decades and decades old. We're really talking about more than 40 years. Let's talk about the racing, though, because we do have 3 stages. This is our opening time trial, almost like a prologue out here, Nathan. Even though all the riders are out on course at the same time, they're all racing their own time trial, but you can see that if we were taking splits at this moment, that is Eder Trier. He's a Mexican rider on the Legion team. What a story they've been. They've raised over $100,000 with the GoFundMe campaign that has really swept the nation's interest and passion for cycling and everything going on, Nathan, right now. But you can see that they are basically side by side here. As these two, who's the rider moving up? Is it one of the riders out of Canada for Hamilton United?
It's going to be Bird. It's going to be the big Bird. Brad Bird, head making his way to the front, and 6.1 at 146 beats per minute. Looks like he's just getting warmed up a little bit here. Looking to grab a little bit of a lead before we hit the actual climb. Ryan Larson starts the pros closet here. Very good climber. Watch out for him on the climb. Mocham there from Vitas Pro is sitting in 4th right now on the course. It's going to be, going out a little bit. Going out hard, though, here is going to be a difficult time, I think, because this climb, I think, is really going to be the place where people are going to be reserving for and can make up a lot of time. But 10 seconds on a climb, that's going to be difficult to deal with. Brad Bird here, he looks like he's all in on this. I think he wants to win this thing outright, and I think he's a good time trialist. I really do.
It's such a short, violent effort that they're making out here. Again, such a unique format because in a time trial, you're racing alone. You have the thoughts in your head. You maybe have an earpiece and have a director who's giving you. I mean, it is so hard, Nathan, when you're at an in real life time trial. I mean, I just remember back at national championships this last year in Knoxville, how it's really hard to get information out there. I mean, unless you're at the Tour de France with information pinging off of every cell phone out there, this is a different situation. But here these guys can see exactly where they stand. I mean, if we stop the race at this moment at 3.1K, this would be their placing based on where they are. You can see that there's a lot of riders, Nathan, I think, who have taken the path that you seem to believe in, which is save a little bit for what's going to be insanely hard climb here, especially after the effort that they're making right now. This is I mean, look at the numbers here. For those of you that are new to Zwift and are big fans of Joe Martin stage race, this is a very we don't do this that often, do we, Nathan? Racing in this time trial format, but it's a lot of fun to watch. Again, you can see Mottram. He's one of the teammates of McGlinchey coming out of the United Kingdom, racing for that Vetus team, which is a pro-continental squad. These are some of the top riders that we have in this year's Joe Martin race when you talk about McGlinchey and Mottram. Ryan Larson having a good day. Etta Friere sitting there. Hey, the American champion, two-time American time trial champion, Corey Lockwood out of Bakersfield, California. Nathan, he's sitting pretty in a good spot right now, I would say, because he's going to have the legs for this climb.
Yeah, no, let's take a quick look, though. I'm going to move back just a little bit and actually give a shout-out here to Eric Hill. He's looking a little 38th place. It looks like a few seconds back, but pretty steady effort here coming from Hill. He was nice enough to share some live footage with us here. So here he is coming out of the pain cave here, it looks like, with Eric. 5.8 watts per kilogram, 408 watts, currently 38th place on the time trial. Look at how it's spread out here. And again, no drafting. And so some time to make up here, it looks like, if we can get maybe some splits moving forward a little bit. Gavin Dempster's just a little ways ahead of him, it looks like there. That was the one who run the recent Tour of Gila for Cyrus the Pros Closet, actually. Right behind him, it looks like Matt Brandt. So solid crew here showing up for Cyrus the Pros Closet. Right on Vetus's wheel here, though. Who's in front of Eric? It's going to be Walker, Joey Walker there from Vetus.
It looks like they're drafting, doesn't it? I mean, you'd think you're looking at a group and guys trying to chase on to that group, but believe me, the drafting turned off here. This is shows you how competitive this one is going to be. It's going to go absolutely ballistic, Nathan, on the climbing sector here, and that's going to come up pretty quickly here as we're motoring up on 5K in. Really unique. Normally, to do this time trial, we would be out there for a couple of hours with the number of riders that we have inscripted for this year's virtual Joe Martin. But here we get them all out on course at once and just turn it into a melee out there. But this is going to be Brad Bird, Canadian, on Hamilton United. A very well-organized team. They're going to make their mark here at this year's Joe Martin. This race takes place in Arkansas, Nathan, Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's a real celebration of cycling that they have down there, and Bruce Dunn, the race organizer, has done a tremendous job, much like Jack Brennan, who organizes the Tour of the Gila. He is a one-man force to be reckoned with. He's got a great team around him as well, but just his passion's incredible. Tyler Williams, who we're going to talk to later, the Legion rider, he's got a tremendous amount of experience racing around the globe out of Santa Rosa, California. And Tyler Williams, let's see, Nathan, that's him at home here. So people were requesting this quite a bit. What do the riders look like? This really connects you to their avatar, doesn't it? That's him working.
Yeah, that's what's currently what 6.2 watts per kilogram looks like coming from Tyler Williams a moment ago. 440 watts. Looking fairly calm at this point,
looks
actually.
Amazingly smooth.
Yeah, he looks,
yes.
and he looks like he's got maybe some music in the earphones, obviously, to be hammering this out. Currently 13th place or so. Probably about 10 seconds behind Brad Bird as Brad Bird's hammering away off the front here. So good to see Williams representing Legion out there. Giving us a little wave even. He gives us a little wave, but the climb's about to start, and I think they're going to be pushing 7 watts per kilogram up over the top of this thing because it is a short stage. It's, 400 plus watts from some of these riders, I think, for the duration of this thing.
Nathan, I love it, though. So as we say goodbye to Tyler Williams, they're racing in his home in California. We're still watching his icon here. It's about to get real. So go ahead and strap in, guys, because here we go. Williams with the surge. He's going to try to dim the power grid here in Bologna. Okay, Nathan, now we really move into the finale.
Mikey Mottram, Vetus, 7.4, 13% gradient. Now this is where the race really begins.
Nothing like this effort being made right now. So, okay, let's start looking at the chase. So Brad Bird is going to try to hang in there. Ryan Larson coming forward. Boy, I see Corey Lockwood still sitting in the top 10 and Tyler Williams, his teammate there. So 2 Legion riders sitting up inside the top 10. But Nathan Mottram's going to be hard to beat today. He's taking more coal, throwing it on the fire. This man is a human locomotive on the climb for Vetus right now.
Yeah, and it does look like his teammates.
Growing.
Oh my goodness, he is going out, and Mottram, he is one of these riders. I've definitely recognized it in the past before that he definitely has this all-out puncher type effort. I've seen it over and over again. He's done the work for his teammate Christopher McGlinchey before. We'll see if McGlinchey shows up here in the later stages, but he might be looking forward to some of the other stages, or maybe they're saying, Mottram, this is your time to go for it, get an overall, perhaps. We'll have to wait and see. But Dan Fleeman, here comes Fleeman. Stars the Pros Closet, ex-UCI World Tour rider here. This is the man who knows how to climb as well.
No doubt about it. When Fleeman goes, he goes big. Again, as you mentioned, Nathan, this guy's got world tour chops. Fleeman is flying right now. Interesting to see. Now, Nathan, for both of these guys, it's after midnight at home for them racing out of the United Kingdom or Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
It's really, really impressive to think about how late it is, and they're just not going to be in their biorhythmic cycle, but they're certainly hammering hard. Fleeman's got the 10-kilo sledgehammer out and is just wailing away, but Motrum's not giving up that much ground, to tell you the truth. Mikey Motrum looking tough. We got Jordan Shane here. Now this is our man up in Canada with the Elevate Webplex team, another one of the really talented young North Americans in this race.
Yeah, Jordan Shane here. It looks like steady effort here. Look at him, very calm. I love how calm these boys are. Like they're
so
really
good.
are steady effort. I mean, 181 though, there's absolute suffering. Up and out of the saddle, making the catch here. It looks like he's catching Bird, who went out very hard early on, taking over 7th place on the road. Again, TT, no drafting, all about time, about halfway up the climb now. Will he close it down? That's going to be the question. Just a little ways ahead of him. It looks like about 6 seconds. Let me take a quick look at Motrem here, and then we'll come right back to Shane, as Shane is on the attack here to bring that back. Go back to the Jordan Shane view. There's Motrem up ahead of him here now on this climb. 15%. This is where the most time can be made up. Legion going now ahead of him. Pierre Jordan is making a move.
Well, I mean, what a cool format. Stage 1 of the Joe Martin virtual race is turning into an absolute Donnybrook. Nathan, there's nothing like this perspective of being able to pace in real time off of the riders in front of you. It's bizarrely different than a time trial in real life. It's actually way, way more fun, and certainly a lot of fun to watch as we got Jordan Shane now pushing on, soldiering on. But Nathan, that gap is large enough. It looks like it's going to be Fleeman and Motrem in a mono battle right now. This one's going to be epic. And Nathan, we're saying 8K. Is that correct? I've seen a couple different things
8K,
out there.
8 kilometers, 8 kilometers to the line. And it's so steep all the way through here, all the way through. Williams here really trying to close it down. This is so great. 2 of our live riders. It's amazing to see. This is Williams' perspective here, trying to chase down. Right in front of him is going to be Jordan Shane. We go back to Jordan Shane's perspective, up and out of the saddle as well, grinding this 15% gradient right now. 16 kilometers per hour, up a 14% gradient. But on the front, this is going to be the story here. Saris, the pros closet, are absolutely smashing this. But Shane is coming on like a freight train here, it looks like. It looks like Motrem right on the wheel. Will Fleeman be able to hold off? 186, and it's all in at this point. I know this section, of course. I've done this TT before, and at this point, it's nothing but heart because there's nothing left in the body at all.
Oh my! I mean, the amount of lactic acid that you would have pooling
so
up
much
in your legs
pain.
would fill a
So
reservoir.
much pain.
It's insane. So Fleeman, again, this is experience. This is a command performance from Dan Fleeman here of the Saris, the Pros Closet team. These are the monsters of esports racing, Nathan. This team just does not miss a step here in the 2020 season. Are they going to take out stage 1 here of the Joe Martin Classic? But look at this. Mikey Motrem will not lie down. He will not give up as this man is coming like a runaway freight train. Motrem is starting to look like he's got the momentum here, Nathan. This one is going to go to the line. It's like
it goes flat here in just a second. It goes flat in just a moment here. It's going to be, I mean, it feels like it's flat after 10% gradient here. Here comes Thomas here from Tour 2K, and I don't think he's going to be closing up. Motrem's got him, though, it looks like here, but there's no draft. Again, it's wattage versus wattage. Fleeman fading. Will Fleeman fade completely? It looks like it's Mikey Motrem comes over the top, 7 watts per kilogram, and it looks like Motrem might take this out. But here comes Jordan Shane. Jordan Shane up and out of the saddle. Will he make the catch? 1 second to Fleeman. It looks like Jordan might take this down. Will he be able to catch Motrem at the line, though? It looks like it's going to be Mikey Motrem. Not quite enough, it looks like. Mikey Motrem will get there.
He's going to get second. Look at this, flogging himself like a rented mule. He's going to go right by Fleeman. Holy cow, the Canadians sure canucked up there.
Look at him. What an effort. What an effort. Amazing. Going to go back over to Webplex here real quickly. And an amazing effort here as well coming in from Williams. But we're going to jump around a little bit here, everybody. Huge efforts coming in, though.
Yeah, it gets a little wacky now, but good job. That's Tyler Williams, who we were watching in real life as well from his home in California. Tyler Williams is going to finish. It's going to be close to a top 10 here, Nathan, as we're bringing the guys home. Remembering there was no drafting out here. This is going to be their finishing time in their placing. So that's going to be the Twig, another one of the Estella's riders coming through. That's a stacked team. Watch out for Estella's here. So you can see
Now
the
we do have
international
Mir,
element.
Hamilton. We got a lot of riders. They're all going to be coming across here one by one. Dempster coming across the line. Riddle coming across the line. Miri coming
Nathan,
across the line. I mean, it's just
what
going
was
to be
the
one after another.
if you can check, and I don't know if you can, but what was the winning time? Because obviously everything references off of that. Now we watch the seconds rule for some reason stopping, but there we go, 14:21.
Yeah, they'll keep stopping as
The-
everybody keeps on stopping
Right.
out on course. So it'll take a little while for us to get everybody across the line. The results will be coming in a second here. We've got an effort still coming in from Eric Hill. It looks like he's out on course still. He's absolutely hammered. We'll see if we can get his avatar on screen here in just a second. But Eric really looks like this. I mean, this looks so incredibly painful.
Hey, Nathan, is there a Dygert racing in this race as well? I just saw Chloe Dygert shouting out David Dygert, who's her dad, I believe, racing possibly.
Interesting. Right on.
Chloe's young enough that her dad would be young enough to possibly be out here. It's not an impossibility. But anyways, we've got Chloe coming up. The reigning world champion, Nathan, is racing with us tonight. But we're going to have a chance. There's Eric Hill. Boy, we wouldn't be doing this without that man. So good to see he finished. As still more riders out on course, I have to think. Such a hard climb out here.
Yeah, and we
Not
can
gonna
actually
suit
go ahead
everybody.
and bring in the results here as the riders are
great.
cooling down. They're going to go ahead and do their cool down. Good little opener. It looks like after a quick little 8 kilometer full on 13:44. I mean, that's essentially. I mean, that's like a 10-minute VO2 effort, essentially. I mean,
Well, and you know
holy
what's funny,
cow.
Nathan? I'd be pretty cool with that time on the flat, right?
just to get to the bottom of the hill. Is that
Just
what
to
you
do
mean?
the distance. Yeah, just to do the distance, not including the climbing. So I guess let's, well, we have plenty of time here before the women are out on course. No rush. So we can enjoy stage one as we take a look. These results are going to show you how the GC battle is going to be shaking out as Mikey Mottram and his Vetus team are going to go in with our virtual leaders jersey. But Jordan Shane with that mighty Elevate Webplex team is positioned just 3 seconds back there in second. Dan Fleeman holds on for a second. So how about that? United Kingdom, 4 of our riders in the top, or 3 in the top 4 were racing at midnight tonight. Dan Fleeman and Ben Thomas there in 4th. Etta Freire in 5th. Ryan Larson 6th. Bruce Bird, the early leader, and you can see it's pretty tight here, going 14:03, 14:04, 14:06 for Bruce Bird. Then Adam Roberge, another Canadian, at 14:08. Andy Turner, and then Alex Fraser-Moran, who was a stage winner at the Tour of the Gila. I'd have to say Canada having an outstanding day. Way to Canuck up. And it's fun watching Jordan there in the finale. Nathan, all right, here we go. Way to launch that stage. Interesting format, isn't it? To watch a time trial with everybody out on the course at the same time. But because it's Zwift, we can turn off the drafting feature. That would be impossible to do in real life.
That would, it would be impossible to do in real life, which is very, very interesting. I think it's cool. I think it's kind of cool that they can push each other that way then, though, too. That being able to see what the times are between them as they go out. Now, I mean, there is a little bit of like that feeling inside you of kind of wanting the old school, wanting it to be a little bit, I don't know, in a race of truth against yourself. I could see some people saying, well, come on, race of truth.
It's really different. No, absolutely. This is not a time trial. It's a time trial with a whole different, it's like instead of a pizza, a Mexican pizza or something, right? Because that ability to watch where everybody else is, it certainly would allow you to dig deeper as you're chasing a rider in front of you. If you know you're being beat and the guy that's beating you is 10 feet in front of you, you're going to go harder. There's no way you don't. I'd love to. That would be a sports physiology, psychology conversation that would be interesting to have. Nathan, that was a cool stage one. It went by super quickly as it's supposed to. I bet you didn't go by so quickly when you were on the climb.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely were feeling that, it looked like. I do have a couple of the riders wanting to come in for an interview, it looks like. Jordan here, I think, has just unmuted himself. I'll just see if, Jordan, just give a second, Jordan. I see your audio coming on through, and we'll bring you in just a moment here. And I just want to make sure all of our levels are good. But what an effort there by Jordan Shane, taking just going to double check here, second place. Him and Mikey Mottram to the line. Jordan, let's go ahead and go over to Jordan here, coming out of Canada. Jordan, amazing race out there today.
Thanks, man. You guys hear me all right?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I have to ask, being able to see Dan Fleeman right in front of you, Jordan, how much more did that bring out of you? I mean, you made the catch. It's we were talking about the psychology of that. That was outstanding to watch. And by the way, I agree with Nathan, great ride, but talk about actually chasing a guy you could see.
Yeah, I mean, we found out yesterday that it would be a mass start TT, and certainly changes the psychology of it. Because in a normal TT, you don't know where you're losing time, where you're gaining time. And that demanded a lot of patience because I knew my pacing plan was to go at tempo on the flat and then as hard as I could up the hill. And so I started the hill in like 60th, which mentally is pretty tough.
Whew, you're
But
pretty far
it
back
paid off.
there. That's a lot of ground to make up, because it looked like early on, Fleeman as well, Fleeman and Mottram, they were right to the front up front. So did you feel like maybe if you were better positioned, or do you think you kind of emptied the tank completely? Like, no way.
I researched this pretty extensively, like did the best bike split, looked on Zwift Insider for pacing, and I wrote exactly the power I wanted to in each section. And I knew that a lot of guys would have trouble holding back on the start. And so I knew I'd go in far back, but maybe not that far back. But it was great motivation catching people, watching those gaps shrink in front of me and knowing I still had something in the tank. I wouldn't have done it any differently, but certainly the format was very interesting today.
Hey, have you raced the real Devil's Den in Arkansas? Have you done Joe Martin in real life before? How'd this compare?
Yeah, I've done Joe Martin 4 or 5 times, and it's actually my breakout result as an amateur in 2014. I came second in that time trial on the opening day of that race, and the rest of the race didn't go that well. I had a lot to learn, but that was my big result, and so it's always had a special place for me. And this really bore some similarities, at that 6 to 8 minute climb. That's some of the hardest stuff in cycling for sure.
So heading into the next stage now. So you're 3 seconds out in the overall lead. How familiar are you, Mikey Mottram, the rider who won today? I don't know that you guys have raced in real life against Vetus, but they're a professional continental team. You haven't had a chance to meet them in real life, but obviously you know that Pro Continental's not messing around.
No, it's and I think that over in he's from the UK, right? Correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, time trialing is a pretty big deal over there. So I probably expected a Brit to be near the front today. And I've never come across Mottram before, but did a great ride today. And the courses over the weekend are tough, so a lot could happen. Like the sprints are both uphill. So, 3 seconds can be found here and there. I expect this to be, without the team time trial with such big gaps like we had in the last race in Gila, I expect this to be a little more wide open in the next 2 stages.
What'd you learn at Gila? You guys as a team come in really strong. Elevate Webplex is, if for those that are watching and remembering too, they're not only in the United Kingdom, it's after midnight there, Jordan. So pretty interesting the way this race shakes out. So you guys have such a strong team heading into the next stage. Did you learn anything at Gila that you'll apply?
Well, maybe I'm probably the most experienced Zwifter on the team. From Canada, I picked up this indoor training tool in the winter pretty early on. I rode on Jarvis, so I knew
Jordan,
a lot.
I remember that,
Jordan.
Me and you have been riding together for a long time, Jordan. I remember definitely.
I was just telling Nathan. I was just telling my wife yesterday that I remember the first stream that I appeared on of yours in 2015, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. I was playing a video game on the TV, so. So I know a lot about Zwift, long story long, but the team has learned quite a bit. We sort of picked it up 2 weeks before Gila. A lot of these guys have never ridden it before. And we've been practicing twice a week, the team time trial on Thursdays and road races on other days. And the guys have come a long way. So, I'm not a sprinter, so maybe these next 2 stages aren't for me at the finish, but we've got some sprinters. Castillo and Adam Roberge has been sprinting better and better, Lucas Burgoyne. And those guys have really picked up the platform since Gila, so watch out for them.
All right. Well, great. Hey, Nathan, that is cool to know that when you look, Jordan, who probably must have been getting on Zwift when he was about 14 years old then, I'm guessing.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah,
Good stuff. Jordan,
it's been a long journey, but
Yeah, it's good. Well, obviously, it's paid off. That was that was quite an amazing result, and we've seen you get stronger and stronger, year after year out there. Great to see somebody's embraced the platform so such early on. Have a great result out here today, Jordan. We really appreciate you jumping in with us, and we will, wish you luck for the rest of the stages here. Great job on your second place out there today. It was great to see that. And
thanks very much, guys. I appreciate all the effort you put in. Thanks.
Of course. Have a good night. Get some sleep and rest. We'll see you out there tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Remember, Nathan, I was joking about Timmy Bauer being the perfect neighbor. That looks like the perfect son, doesn't he? What a cool kid.
Jordan's awesome.
Classy,
and he's been super aggressive, always super aggressive early on in Zwift racing. It's been really great to watch how that's developed with him in this whole esports world, and now jumping into the Joe Martin stage race. Really cool to see. We've got another interview as we wait for the women's race to start. We still have 35 minutes to the start of the women's race. So we do have along with us our race organizer. Project Echelon is on board with us. Eric Hill is here with us. He's actually on the bike cooling down still. So let's go ahead and jump into Eric's pain cave and see. We'll see how loud it is in the pain cave. But Eric looked like, I wanted to get him on screen, but we had so much going on during the suffering. Eric, let's go ahead and jump in with you, man. That looked painful, Eric, during that race out there today.
Eric is actually underwater.
Hey, Eric, you're underwater for us. You're underwater for us. Maybe we'll reload the call. Your headphones, I think you got to reconnect the microphone, just so you know, Eric. Or maybe jump in on that iPad. We'll hold off for a little bit, and we'll jump back in with Eric in a moment. I think Eric's headphones, for some reason, stopped working on the mic. We had him real good prior, but that's the reality of the internet, everybody. We're bringing everybody in through all different methods at this point. We got a couple of other interviews that may be showing up here in a little bit, too. I think Chloe, as well as we've got Melly McRoasty. I think we're going to be having some live views for her as
Lauren,
well.
Right?
And Lauren Stevens. Lauren Stevens.
Yeah.
We're still waiting for the connections to be made here, but as soon as they are, we'll be maybe jumping in with them for some pre-race chat.
I was joking during Gila, she squires for her husband, Matt, while he's racing. So he just was on the Estella's team in that event. Then they swap roles, and he'll be getting some cold water bottles out of the freezer. And actually, you don't really need a water bottle for this one, to tell you the truth. Actually, we did watch Jordan Shane take a pull. We'll take one drink at the bottom of the climb.
Before he got going. Right before he was all in. That was good.
I loved that interview. He talked about patience and knowing his pacing schedule and doing his homework, and all of those things make a huge. Our friend Charlie Eisendorf talked about how important knowing the course is in that great Velo News article when we really got going with this new surge in interest in esports. So okay, Eric Hill, while he's not with us, Nathan, I won't embarrass him, but he has done so much to help us organize these events. Or actually, he organizes the events and then hands it off to you, who produces them and puts it onto Zwift Community Live. But he's not only racing. We wouldn't be doing these events without him. He has to connect with the in real life organizer, which in this case is Bruce Dunn. Bruce would be down there in Arkansas. They have been running this race I'm not sure that Bruce ran it in the very beginning. Anything that like Gila or Redlands, when these races are running for 30 years, Nathan, they usually pass the baton at some point from the original organizers. But Bruce and his All Sports company have been putting on great triathlons and many events, including, standalone criteriums. But this one is the crown jewel for sure when you talk about Joe Martin stage race. Joe Martin himself, Nathan, was one of those guys, as we say, standing on the shoulder of giants. We wouldn't be here without people like Joe Martin, who helped grow the sport in the 70s and 80s there. If you go to Tulsa Tough, a lot of people there, including my co-announcer there, Greg Saunders, talks about what a great guy Joe Martin was. He's the kind of guy like Mike Walden up in Michigan, who've brought hundreds and hundreds of people into the sport. So as we kind of reset here, get ready for the women's race, same format. I'll throw it back to you, Nathan.
Yeah, just want to make sure, Eric. Just going to double check, and it looks like we got a microphone from you now, Eric. I'm just going to double check here real quick.
Are you good?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
There
now?
we go. We got him.
Hey.
We got Eric. Good. Going to turn your noise gate down a little bit. I turned it way up because you had a ton of background. But now you're good. Now we don't have the bike there any longer, so now we can turn you right on up, Eric. How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm I'm good, man. I just can't get off the bike like Jordan did and get in an interview. I'm one of the older guys in the race, and I got to cool down, man. So sorry about that.
No, all good, all good. So, how did that feel? Before we get into everything, Project Echelon, Joe Martin stage race.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah,
you put in a ton of work. I want to talk about your race because I saw you fighting that bike like I've never seen you fight a bike before. Me and Eric are local to each other, and we ride a lot together in the past. And man, that looked really hard.
yeah. I was hoping for top 50. Normally in Joe Martin stage race and that specific time trial, uphill time trials aren't quite my thing. I normally finish 40th to 50th, somewhere in there. So I finished 50th place today, which is where I would normally finish in that event. So I'm happy with it. I did decent power considering I've been organizing the event, going to bed late at night. I don't get to prep the way that I'd like to, but it's worth it, and that's okay. And I'm happy with the event. And man, those top performances were awesome to see. They're inspiring, and those guys crushed it out there today.
So,
Hey,
real
Eric, can you
quick,
tell us?
go ahead, Dave. All you.
Yeah, yeah. Can you tell us more about Project Echelon? You really have deserved a chance to give us the pitch because it's a great story what you're working towards with them.
Yeah, yeah. So Project Echelon was started about 5 years ago after a veteran friend of mine reached out. He had just made a third attempt at suicide. He was struggling with drug and alcohol addiction, and he was on his path to recovery. But he was kind of lost, kind of spiraling out of control, didn't really know what his direction was. And he knew he needed physical activity back in his life, but he didn't know how to get back into a routine. He didn't have the resources, that we're privileged enough to have as elite athletes, with sponsors and equipment offered to us and race entries, all of those things. He just didn't have a starting point, and so I helped him get into the sport. I helped put together some training plans for him, and 6 months later, his life looked totally different. His confidence, his ability to persevere through adversity, completely changed. And almost a year later, he was doing Ironman Nice, and he was on a TV show on NBC called Quest for Kona. And at that time, we decided to start Project Echelon and to make the same, services or outreach that I gave to him available to other veterans in need. And so we have a professional elite cycling team that races on the UCI and PRT circuit. They're our outreach branch. They do community service, community outreach. We visit VAs. We put on veteran events. All of the athletes on the team coach and mentor the veterans that we work with. And then we work with our industry partners, Argon 18, Jackaroo, Reynolds, Cliff Bar, Kyoku, all of those. We bring them in and we ask them to offer the same support and services that we get to our veterans, and they all do so willingly, and they're amazing advocates for our veteran community. We served 104 veterans last year, donated $35,000, and volunteered just over 2,500 hours. And so we're really proud of the work that we do off the bike and on the bike. Last year was a successful year. We had the yellow jersey at Joe Martin Stage Race for 2 days and won a stage. And so, the passion that we have is what drives us both on and off the bike.
When you say we, I assume Project Echelon, you must have a core group around you. Talk about those guys. How'd you all get this? How'd you get that momentum going?
Yeah, it started out small. It started out with a local club that I was racing on. I had aspirations to race bigger races than what the club was allowing us to do, and I started my own team, Project Echelon, because of it.
Right.
I brought some key guys with me. I reached out to some other regional guys that I saw a lot of potential in, and I had fun racing against at that time. And slowly we acquired one more rider, two more riders, and eventually I probably get about 150, 200 inquiries a year from people saying,
Wow.
"Hey, I want to come ride for your program." And so now we've grown to a point where I have the opportunity to select a team, that both fits our team dynamic, but also fits our mission and vision. And I know that they're going to serve our veterans the way they need to.
So we've done Redlands, we did Gila. They were both great. Somehow I feel even more connected to Joe Martin now. I've never been to Fayetteville, but obviously you have. Can you tell us
Yeah.
about the in real life race and the relationship with the virtual race and that connection?
Yeah, well, sort of like what Jordan said. Joe Martin was my breakout race. I took in 2014. I took second in the Cat 1-2 race, and our team the year after got invited to the UCI race, and I haven't missed a race since. And so I didn't want to miss that race again this year. And it's postponed right now. We're hoping that it's going to be able to happen in real life in some capacity later this fall. But that race means a great deal to me. I think I've been there 9 times, 10 times for the event. And
It's
so
funny.
I wanted to get that going.
It's funny, we all have that race, right? Whether it was the first one you went to as a junior, or maybe it's your white whale, the one race that you want to win. So, I just thank you so much for this. Talk to me about the interest that you see. And first off, with the women's race coming up, as an organizer of an event, having the reigning world champion show up to race, doesn't that give you goosebumps?
Oh my
It
gosh. I
does
mean,
me. Yes.
it's unreal. I mean, to know that 4 months ago we were running these events as meetups, and I was literally just calling guy by guy, team by team, and saying, "Hey, we want to race. We want to do something fun. We need something to give ourselves a competitive edge. Will you do a meetup with us on Zwift?" And the first event we did, Brad Soner did a voiceover for it. Got some traction because he was doing the Tour de Quarantine at the same time, and then people said, like, why don't we make these actual events? And that's when I reached out to Nathan, and Virtual Redlands was a huge success. And at that time, I was still reaching out to teams and asking, like, hey, can you come and do this? We want a good quality, strong field. And Redlands was such a success that now we're to a point where I have a wildcard application. We're very selective on the teams that we bring in, both based on their past history, their work in developing younger riders, or their community outreach and the network that they have to help us grow our work that we're doing right now. So it's been unreal. It's went far beyond what I ever imagined it would have been. But it's been a really fun journey. And you guys, I got to thank you. You have been an amazing part of that. You bring such energy and professionalism to this, and I couldn't ask for better people to have to collaborate with.
Greatly.
I need to I'm doing this right now. I need to thank Frank Cundiff as well.
Thanks.
The women's
great
races.
guy.
Yeah, absolutely. His girlfriend's racing. He's a huge advocate for the women's races. I wanted to put him on. I just didn't have the bandwidth to do it. And Frank raised his hand and he said, "I'll do it. Like, let me help you. Let me take some weight off your shoulders." And we've been a really good collaborative team from that point on. And so I need to thank him publicly for his work.
I appreciate that. Again, this all starts with the sweat equity that you guys have built up is absolutely incredible. And it's interesting you go from that, as you said, asking people to come to your party to now everybody wants to be there and you have to start being selective. So talk to me about one final question for you here. And I know you've got a lot going on, but so with the Europeans coming over, did they lobby you to try to get an earlier race time? Some of those guys and women are going to be racing at 1:00 at night, but listen, they kicked butt out here today. So maybe we should be all racing at midnight.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, like, you just got to be in the right headspace. It doesn't matter what time of day you're racing. If you're a professional, you know how to get in the headspace, right? I just got done watching The Last Dance with Michael Jordan, and, like, I can't get that out of my head. But that guy, I mean, that's what made him great, was he could put himself in that headspace no matter the situation. And we're to a point where these races are professional, and these men and women know how to perform when they need to perform. And so they're gonna turn it on when they need to turn it on, and they definitely did. But they did reach out. They did say, "Yeah, can we get the first start times?" I even had a dad reach out and say, "Hey, my kid's got his birthday party. I'm serving pizza. That's my job. Can you put me first?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do what I can." But now we had this mass start event, and it worked out in everybody's favor, and it was actually really cool.
It was.
I was a little nervous on how it was going to turn out, but I mean, you're playing mind games the entire time in that format. It was a different setting for sure.
Well, Eric, thank you very much, everybody. That's Eric Hill, our race director from Wisconsin, Project Echelon Racing. Last thing, Eric, if people want to support what you're doing, and I know they do, I've just received 2 messages already asking about how do I support what Eric is doing. Give us the
Yeah.
the elevator pitch on how they can get some support to you.
Yeah, first and foremost, thank a veteran. And please go one step beyond that and do something to support them. Show them that you are truly thankful for their service. Um, Lip service doesn't do much good, right? So that's my ask. But second, if you have the ability to support our organization, it takes roughly $300 to support every veteran that we work with. If you could go to projectechelonracing.com or projectechelon.org, either one is fine. Click the donate button on the homepage. And if you can donate $5, great, $10, great, whatever it is, we would love your support that way. And then finally, just share our mission, follow our page, and tell your veteran friends and family about the work that we do. We'd love to support them as well.
Thank you, Eric. Project Echelon doing great work, as is our friend Eric. Nathan, I'll bring it back into the studio with you. I think we are ready to move into the next phase here. Our women's race coming up. The top 10 for the men was hard fought, that's for sure. How are you doing, Nathan? We ready to go?
Well, we're having interesting things happening here.
Okay.
So we'll just be like transparency is always a great thing to have, and we're something interesting happening with the registration currently for the women's events on our side. So we're going to do our absolute best here, and if things go sideways, I have just an upfront apology up front if things do go sideways.
Why
just
don't
as a heads up here.
Nathan, why don't I take over? I'll do some talking about the riders.
Oh, we do have Chloe. We've got Chloe on board, though. We do.
Oh, perfect.
We got Lori Stevens. Yeah, we've got athletes to talk to for sure.
Oh, great.
Just hopefully,
right,
just hoping that we got.
So why don't we let you do?
We got a race.
Why don't we let you?
Well, they have a race. They'll have a race no matter what. It's just whether or not we have a race over here. So, but let's go ahead and go and jump in with Chloe and see how things are going over in her paint camp. I'm gonna make sure that we got her audio though before we do so. Chloe, can you hear us? I'm gonna see if she can hear us. I'm going to double check here. Going to have to unmute, though. She's pointing at the screen saying, unmute that thing. Come on, Nicola. You can handle it. There we go. All right, good to see. Good to see. Chloe Geigert's on board with us getting her warm-up in here, 2020 Pro Cycling. And good to see Chloe. And Dave, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Hey, Chloe. Good to see you. Okay, are you in Boise, Idaho?
Yeah, I moved here in November.
Oh, good. So what is the altitude there?
The altitude's like 3,000.
It's not. Okay, so it's not. I thought it might be more high up in the mountains there in Boise. For obviously, it makes a difference.
It gets up. I'm right next to Kristen's hill climb. It gets up to like 7+ at the top.
So now that everything has changed, obviously the Olympic long team announcement, if there was ever an announcement that you didn't probably have pins and needles waiting for, you've been such a huge part of this program that when you talk about the American Olympic movement, the year off, we're kind of now, about a third of the way through that. The new reality, it seems like you've adjusted pretty well. The headspace seems fine. Talk to me about how you're doing, just as a person. Not even not your fitness, just your headspace.
Yeah, it's actually not gonna lie. Normally, I'm gonna kind of talk about not fitness, but bike-related things. So normally when I take breaks, it's due to injury, and this is the first break I feel like I've taken since Rio, really, that wasn't injury-related. So it's kind of nice, but also frustrating, I was getting fit and take a lot of time off. So it's nice to kind of, have that break mentally too. But yeah, no, it's been nice just settling in here in Boise and spending time with my second family, I guess.
Yeah, it's an amazing community, and that's a big part of things, I would think. Let's go back now to last year. Tour of the Gila, Mogollon. Was that the moment that you flipped the switch and the turnaround happened for you? Is there any moment that you can identify where you really started to move into this new phase? I like to call it Chloe 2.0.
Yeah, that's actually a funny one. No, all the way up until the time trial at Pan Am Games, um, I struggled mentally, physically. It
You
was a
just
very
weren't
rough year.
happy,
I mean,
were you? Or yeah, it just wasn't a good time, was it?
I had a knee surgery earlier that year, and I didn't have my strength. I mean, yeah, I know I won races, and I don't want to take that away, but it wasn't it wasn't a good year for me until I got on the track, went down to Pan Am's, went to Colorado, and that's when things clicked. And has just got me what I needed to go into World Championships fit.
Well, and let's go there then, because that was maybe, as for an American cycling fan, Chloe, if you were going to take one trip to a Worlds, that Harrogate Worlds was special. And especially with as a fan of yours and a fan of USA Cycling, you came into that race maybe the most interesting position possible, where you knew how strong you were. You knew, working with Gary, the Gare Bear. You knew how you were in there to be competitive and win, but maybe the Europeans or everybody else wasn't quite sure what they had on their hands with you. Is that fair to say that was your one shot at Worlds where you didn't go in as a monster favorite? You went in as an out, like maybe you'd come out of the woodwork, and did you ever? Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say I'd agree with that. I still don't think I thought I could do what I did. But again,
I did.
It does put pressure on me. I really don't care what people think. I've seen comments from, Annemiek even, like, saying I'm the favorite going into Tokyo now. I don't care. Like, great. Like, it's not going to change how I train. My mentality's still the same. Whether I'm a favorite, an underdog, I'm just going to do my thing, and it's not going to change.
I like it. That's
trash can time. That's what we call it, right, Chloe?
Well,
do you have the trash can? Oh, yeah. I love it. I love it.
And she's not going to fall for any of these Jedi mind tricks either. I like it. I like where Chloe's at right now. So, Chloe, we'll let you. Hey, good news, everybody. We're going to be great on the coverage. It sounds like Nathan has everything fixed. Chloe, continue rocking on. Good luck out there. And thanks for racing. We really appreciate having the reigning world champion with us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hashtag trash can, Chloe. Go get it, Chloe. Good job. Good job.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Thanks.
Hey, Nathan, it sounds like you have Lauren Stevens then that we can jump into. This is really like going from Larry Bird to Magic Johnson here. It's just two of the biggest stars that we're going to have in the race.
Yeah, just going to double check audio, make sure audio is good from Lauren. Real quick, Lauren, can we just double check as we're trying to go through here? Maybe unmute if you do have yourself on mute.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. Good. Lauren, good to see you. Dave, go Ted.
Hey, congratulations, Lauren. Making road world championship teams, that's a big deal, but talk to me about making the realistically the Olympic long team, but still very significant. Talk to me about how you feel.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to make the Olympic long team. It's been a couple years struggling with an injury in my hip, and to be able to still be named to the Olympic long team and now have this chance to make the final team, I'm focused and excited.
You really made a splash on Zwift going back a couple of months ago. Did you expect that? I'm assuming you're having fun. You're winning a lot. How has Zwift worked out for you?
Yeah, it's definitely been a steep learning curve with Zwift, and I'm enjoying it. And yeah, it's something I didn't expect to be doing.
We joked a lot about, so your husband Matt also races. He's on the Estalis team. How was his event? Were you doing that Squire thing that we were joking about? Were you looking after him during the race? And have you swapped roles?
Oh yeah, I was right behind him, helping him out, and just helping him with his pace through the. Oh, there's his hand.
Hey Matt. Hey, I remember you guys at an event I was at last year where you showed up with the jean vests at the Fort Collins Fondo here, and just talking with Chloe about that, about mindset not just psychology out there. You look like you're having fun again too. Not that you weren't having fun, but something last year for you getting, obviously sounds like for both of you, coming back from injury is one thing, but getting yourself back in a good state of mind is another.
Oh, for sure.
How
Like the Denim Vest is my way of just like, I'm here to work hard, but I want to have fun too.
So the team has been phenomenal with esports. Did you expect to like? It's not for everybody, but your team really embraced it. Linda Jackson, your team director, the Canadian Olympian, was that something that she recommended you guys get? Talk to me about that process. Was it something that was like, "Hey, we're going to be doing this. We'd like it if you'd participate"? Who pushed the initiative? I should say.
I would say that I pushed the initiative. I saw it as an opportunity that was our way to continue to race. Right now there's no in real life races happening, so I got to continue to race, be with my team. We actually raced earlier today, the women's tour, on another platform. So this is my second round today.
Well, we were joking. Nathan and I are lucky enough to host that USA Cycling event that happens on Wednesdays. And when you show up, you're always the odds-on favorite. This is decidedly different field that you have here. Is it more fun to race when Chloe Dygert is out there?
Definitely. Having more competition makes it more fun every time.
Yeah, and
I've been excited that Catherine Curry showed up to the last few USA Cycling races, just adding another level of competition.
Yeah, and I guess when we talked about that, if you're going to do Zwift and you're going to make this effort, you might as well make it worth it. And it's these riders that bring out that extra 5%, I'm going to guess. Are you going to come out, everyone joked about COVID-19, Lauren, saying, oh, I'm going to put on 10 pounds. You're either going to lose 10 pounds or gain 10 pounds. Are you going to come out of this fitter than you went into it?
Oh, I'm definitely coming out of this fitter. I'm ready to get back on the road.
That's incredible. It really is. So I guess the $1 million question is, has Tibco set up a training camp for you guys in real life yet? How close do you think you are to racing in real life again?
Yeah, we don't have a real life training camp set up yet, but hopefully that's coming soon. I wanted to ask you one question, Dave. Have you checked your mail lately?
Oh, I have. Still waiting for my new Birkenstocks. Nothing yet.
You might have something in the mail tomorrow.
Oh, really? Well, thank you very much. Now I'm super excited. We have had a really, well, I appreciate you. I'll always, Nathan, in real life, here's how it works, right? In Zwift racing, I can cheer on Lauren and her husband, Matt, and have fun with it. But in real life racing, they give me a ride to the airport in Richmond. So I'm sure Matt remembers that as they're returning their renter cars, picking me up. So, you know what? This community is strong, Lauren. I really feel like we found a good thing here. What's happening out there with Zwift, the community is a big part of what we have so much fun with, and I love that you and Matt are a part of it.
Thank you. We're enjoying it.
Okay, well, good luck out there. That's Tibco comes in with Sarah Gigante as well. Last question for you. Do you guys designate a team leader? How similar is your plan going into an esports race compared to something like the real Joe Martin? Super similar?
Yeah, we've really been approaching it super similar just because that's our opportunity to get to race with each other. And after the TT, we'll be able to set up a team plan and see how to win the whole overall.
Is it warm in Texas right now? I'm guessing you're in air conditioning.
It's 97 degrees, and we went and bought a dehumidifier today to help out ourselves. It's quite warm in here.
Not to be gross or anything, but were the mirrors starting to steam up while you were racing?
I haven't noticed that yet, but I could imagine if Matt and I were racing at the same time, that would probably happen.
That would probably push it over. You have to get 2 dehumidifiers going. So, okay, well, listen, I know it's an interesting format. Like I said last question already 2 times. This will really be it for you, Lauren. Time trial racing, you did watch the men, so it's a unique format there where you can see in real time where your competitors are at. That's got to make things hurt a little more if you're trying to chase down a rider who's 2 feet in front of you.
Yes, definitely. You have to stick to your plan and stick to your ride plan. I watched Matt do his, and all he did was pass riders on the climb. So I hope I can do the same.
Perfect. Good. You can use Matt as a guinea pig as well. It works out perfectly.
sure.
So nice.
Full
Okay.
race
Well,
recon.
good job. All right. Well, that's the Stevens Mansion there in Dallas, Texas. As we're going to let Lauren get her focus on, again, a big part of this community, that's for sure. Nathan, it's a fun group, isn't it? I mean, you can just feel here that
it's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Dave,
But-
we got about 5 minutes to go here. We definitely want to bring in a little bit of the Zwift community as well. We've got tons of amazing pro athletes jumping in here, but we've also have some invites from the esports/Z community as well. And we do have Mallory McRoasty on board with us here. Mallory, it's a little bit loud in the room. We'll see if we can jump in with the mic there. Mallory,
She's a
can you hear us
Revo.
okay?
she races for Revo, correct,
That any
Nathan?
better?
A little bit. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and turn you down just a little bit. Just don't make, can I interrupt your warm-up? Is that okay if I interrupt your warm-up a little bit for a second? That would be super, super helpful. And I'm going to go ahead and turn you down just a little bit. All right, good. Mallory, good to have you on. Mallory, Team Revo, definitely one of the most enthusiastic teams out on Zwift, I would say. You guys are involved in all of the broadcasts. And how did this end up coming about that you guys are jumping into this amazing Joe Martin stage race? And how did what are you thinking of it?
So we have a great group of strong women. We got, I think we've done pretty well on a couple other series, and so people noticed and wanted to invite us.
It looks like is there someone off in the corner there that raced with you today as well, and the kid as well, or we got double headers going on here?
There is.
Who's with us there? That looks like somebody familiar here.
Yeah, it's Frank Cundiff, my boyfriend.
Frank Cundiff. Okay, it's all coming together now. Mallory McRoasty, Frank Cundiff, who helped organize the women's side of things, is also in on the interview. Absolutely loving it. Great stuff. I mean, it's got to be pretty cool though that, I mean, this has a Zwift Academy feel almost to it in some ways, right? Like this whole idea of being able to find talent identification, and a lot of the esports teams, a lot of the Zwift community teams, we're starting to be able to identify talent like yourself and the rest of the Revo team and some of these other teams. We see it in the men's side as well with Stars to Pros Closet. I mean, it's probably got to be pretty cool to be able to jump into a virtual world and race against this level of athletes.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's a bunch of girls I would not have the opportunity to normally race against. I've done 3 races in real life, so it's amazing to be able to ride against the best women in the world.
Absolutely awesome. What's your plans for the TT here? Have you done any recon? Do you know the course? Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so I did one time trial this week to practice, and just gonna kind of hope for the best.
Yeah, it looked like the boys were suffering, that's for sure. So good luck out there. We got 2:30 to go. I'm not going to interrupt your warm up too much again. And also shout out to Frank. Great job getting the women's racing out there as well. Mallory, good luck out there. Great job representing Team Revo and the rest of the Zwift community.
Thank you, and thank you, Frank.
Awesome, absolutely awesome. Great job to Frank. And I look forward to seeing how Team Revo performs out there, as they've been definitely a force. I think that's been, I think there's been a little surprise to my opening from some of these pro teams. Like, whoa, there's some strong women and men out here.
Yeah, I think the reality of esports was going to be no easy group to just roll into and dominate. Hit very early, Nathan, for the in real life racers that joined us. So yeah, I mean, you look at that Revo team. They've got Daniele Strate, she's the Romanian rider, and I believe Monali Keller as well, coming in as riders ranked up and in the top 10 as far as Zwift points go. So, all right, that team's going to be one to watch, that's for sure. So, Lauren Stevens, Rachel Elliott in our field. I see.
Is Rachel Elliott here?
Yes,
Rachel Elliott. Oh boy,
guest
who's she
riding.
riding
Get
for?
this, Femme Equipe.
Really?
So
Okay,
guest
and
riding
is she going to be
with
with
that team.
she's okay, Leah Thorvaldsen. Okay, Claire
Correct,
Good. Got
correct.
it. Nice.
Claire Good is another name to remember. Nice catch, Nathan. So that's a deep pull there. So Femi Keep and Revo are these two teams that the folks who are normally going to Joe Martin might not have heard of. But believe me, they're going to be part of the storyline here. This time trial is such a unique format. We've got the world champion racing with us, and she looks motivated, stoked.
Oh,
This is a
man.
Chloe Dygert that is clearly on,
Did
so
you like
Chloe
her line there? I don't care what people think. I'm not going to
She's
train
the
you
best,
different. I
man.
don't care if I'm the favorite. Just all in.
No
Whatever.
strikeout
Don't care.
headbands.
Just I got a trash can myself. We've got a hilarious. That was from an interview like a year and a half ago where we talked about this meal she should not have had before the team time trial at one of the I believe it was one of the games. I can't remember which one it was, but anyways, awesome story
Pan
about the
Am
trash
games.
can.
I
Yeah,
think it's
that's
the
it. It was the
Pan
Pan
Am
Am.
game.
That was
Yeah.
it. Yep. Some sort of shrimp
So-
or something. Okay, we'll leave that alone.
Yeah, don't bring back any memories. So, but again, so Chloe is not only the reigning world champion, but she was double world champion, double rainbows from Richmond. Can you imagine just every morning
We'll be
when
on
you get up
Richmond.
and training?
We'll be on
Right.
Richmond on
For
Sunday.
stage 3 of this event. Exactly. So she'll be racing on a place that she has such fond memories. It looks like they're out on course. So, all right, here we go, folks. Again, this is 8 kilometers of racing. It's mostly flat until it isn't. And that is when things get extremely interesting. I wanted to mention, again, we've got out of the United Kingdom, watch out for Liz Duncombe as well. This
Ooh, good
very
call.
talented
Good
triathlete.
call.
is
Triathlon,
going
more
to be,
of the steady effort. The climb
Yes.
might be, we'll see how that
Yes.
VO2 goes over the climb. But she's been doing a lot of Zwift racing, so.
Yeah, she's a real talent, that's for sure. That was great talking to Mallory McRosty there. Alice Lethbridge will be out here. Christy Tracy is racing. Stephanie Sidlick is in this field. But then one name we haven't talked. Well, let me bring up Laura Matson-Co racing out of Seattle. She's been in fuego lately. I'm really excited to see what the orthopedic surgeon can do out here. But then another world champion in our field, world road champion, is a junior out of Australia, winner of Tour of the Gila, virtual. Sarah Gigante of Tibco is out here. So, all right, Nathan, I'm going to throw it back to you as Chloe Dygert's going to make this into a very, very tough day for a lot of women.
Take cycling on the front, though. It looks like 6
It's not going to be
watts per
trash
kilogram,
cans.
but
It's
Chloe,
going to be dumpsters.
dumpsters here coming on in.
Yeah.
And Dygert here looks like wanting to take over right from the get-go at almost 6 watts per kilogram. So big efforts already coming in from Chloe here, as you can see. Let's go ahead and see what the pain cave looks like. Lots of focus. Again, similar to what we saw in the men's race here. Steady effort up front. Not going to see that pain just as of yet.
There will be a documentary made about this woman when you talk about the Michael Jordans of sport, how dominant she is, how mentally strong she is. This is, again, get ready for another Chloe Dygert command performance, but we know that we're going to have Lauren Stevens and company who's going to be very motivated. Catherine Curie, the 2008 road champion, U.S. national road champion for the Amy D Foundation, is in this field. She'll be very good on the climb. How well can she pace on the flat sector that leads up to it? Nathan, we really learned from the men that where it's not about your placing at the bottom of the climb, it's about where you're at physiologically, because everything is won in that last, let's say, 2K. But again, with Chloe Dygert, Chloe about it at the Colorado Classic, which she won every single stage of that event, and she did it with panache. It was one of the most it's the most dominant individual performance I've seen at a stage race in my life, Nathan. Nothing actually even close to what she did there over those 4 days. So, Chloe, and there wasn't even a time trial in that event. We're going to go back and pick up Lauren Stevens now. So, Lauren is well aware that pacing is critical, Nathan.
Yeah, it looks like about 2 seconds back or so from Nelson there from 2020. Nice little pack here. Again, just as heads up, everybody, this is a time trial. If you're just tuning in, you're like, what the heck? Why are they all starting together? This is a time trial. They are on time trial bikes. There is drafting is turned off in the game. A time trial bike can't even draft either. So it is all about starting together, but they can. And I've seen a ton of feedback actually in chat over at the YouTube stream that a lot of people are loving the format of time trial. Concurrent live feed definitely pushes the rider to higher thresholds. I'm hearing from Christopher Komar. Absolutely loving that. I'm seeing as well a couple of other chats that you can see what being able to see where people are at and what kind of effort you need to put out in order to match them at different points is a huge help at this point. It sounds
Huge.
like, in order to try and keep things up. Now, I want to highlight something here. Is we're gonna leave Lauren until a little bit later in the climb here. Chloe is on the front, toward the front. But this is a time trialist that rides for that Socks for Watts, guest for Family Equipped. Rachel Elliott is an absolute freight train when it comes to TTing as well. She holds records in the UK specifically around time trialing. She's no joke on this discipline as well.
Nathan, you won't find a more inspirational human being than Rachel Elliott. You correct me where I go wrong. I'm going to do this in 15 seconds. But Rachel Elliott had a stroke a few years ago. She still suffers from some residual effects from that, including a little bit of blindness. She basically started Zwifting out, I even want to say literally in her hospital room. And by the time that she was done with her comeback, she's one of the 10 best women week in, week out here in the sport. And she right now is the rider that is absolutely impressing us. Nathan, did I get Rachel's story right in a nutshell there?
Pretty much. That's about it. Yep, that's about it. And now she's still competing in real life as well in tandem. So she's got, she's the stoker at this point. And what a stoker to have to absolutely,
she'll win she'll win a Paralympic gold, I would think. It's hard to imagine that she wouldn't if she gets a crack at it. How about Nath out here today?
Right, Nath. Yep, riding for Nath out here. She's also a pro triathlete, so good to see her. I actually saw some new designs coming out for the kid as well, so they're probably pretty excited to represent out here for the Vision team. 176 beats per minute right now coming from her as she's looking to push on. It looks like 5.66 watts per kilogram coming from the triathlete. Lindsay Duncombe as well, trying to follow up her teammate there. And then it's going to be Johnson here from Tate Cycling who went super hot, maybe fading back just a little bit, but still steady. Faulkner trying to chase it down from Tibco. It looks like Nelson here sitting in 7th with a 4-second gap. So we do have some little bit of cream of the crop here rising to the top as far as the times go. But we've got, you heard though, remember what we saw from Jordan? 2nd place in the men's race, came in 30th though, right? He timed it well.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Nathan. And I'm looking at Stevens to do something very similar. You can see she's hovering right around 10th place out there. She will pass riders on the climb. There's not going to be that many to pass, however. Also, I think pacing herself well is going to be Chloe Dygert. She knew she wasn't going to get baited into. Again, do you really think you're going to play head games with Chloe Dygert? Forget about it. That young lady is as solid as they come. Her mental fortitude is amazing. But right now, Rachel Elliott doesn't care. She's going to go out, go big or go home. It looks like is the plan for the Femi Keep rider, Rachel Elliott. That is going to be McRoasty. I believe they're in Washington, D.C., and Frank Cundiff, who is organizing things so well. He jumped in and we wouldn't have had a women's race, and we wouldn't have done Gila without it. So, Frank, thank you so much for what you're doing as we're taking a look at Mallory McRoasty here, and she's having a great ride.
35th place. Good ride. Yeah, Amanda Corker, Simone Boillard. I mean, there's some names right around Mallory here who's having away 182 beats per minute. We're about to go uphill, though. The real race is about to start.
Yeah, absolutely. You flip a switch, Nathan, everything changes, and this is where it will just go absolutely ballistic on this climb. And boy, it's coming up quickly, isn't it? We're already 5K into what is use 8 kilometers for your total distance. So it's really not even 2 miles on that climb. And that's where everything gets sorted out. Get ready to get guttered is what most of these ladies realize. There's Georgia Simmerling, this amazing story for a teammate of Chloe Dygert, who, Nathan, look that one up, and you won't believe one of the very few human beings on planet Earth that's medaled in the winter and the summer games. And she's done it in 3 different sports. She's competed in the Olympics, but then going back to the front, this is the vanguard. Explaining again for the final time here, all of these racers are doing a time trial. There is no drafting. So even though they might look like they're in a group, they're not getting any benefit from that. Every rider is working on their own against the wind and gravity. And what a ride from Rachel Elliott. Nathan, I don't know if she can hold on or not, but in order to win, you've got to risk losing. You want to go up against a giant like Chloe Dygert. Well, you're not going to go ahead and pitter-patter around and beat her. You're going to have to go big. If you come for the queen, you best not miss.
Yeah, we are seeing a good gap, about 3 seconds here, but now the real race is going to begin. And it's up into 7 watts per kilogram coming from Johnson. Then it's going to be Nate there, also into that 7 watts per kilogram for a moment here, looking to close things down. Currently third out on course. Lindsey Duncombe now coming on through as well. But here comes Nelson, 6 watts per kilogram coming from the 2020 rider there as well. Where is Dygert? We'll see where we can find Dygert here, sitting at 6 watts per kilogram, keeping it steady. Now it is going to be Stevens, though. Stevens at 6.7. Push on through, though. Lauren Stevens hammering away. We're going to see some focus. The image is going to break it up just a little bit here, making sure most likely that her connection staying steady to the game. That's going to be the most important thing, that's for sure. But 6.3 here, right on Nelson's wheel there, it looks like, as well as Nath. Nath now going backwards as Stevens heads forwards.
Well, we knew that the pacing strategy was going to be huge out here. Lizzie Duncombe is a monster. There's no doubt about it. The rider out of London, England. She's an outstanding triathlete talent, an ITU 70.3 winner in her career. She did that down in South America, but she's a gamer, that's for sure. Watch out. She's going to be the wild card here for a lot of these women. But Lauren Stevens here and Chloe Dygert. What I'm really loving is seeing this name, Lauren DiCrescenzo. So Lauren is another. She had a TBI, a horrible crash at the San Dimas stage race. It's amazing. She ends up going on to do incredible things with her life, going to Emory. She's now working at the Center for Disease Control. Think about that, Nathan. That's her full-time job. She just got done setting the women's Everesting record. She is out of Broomfield, Colorado originally, where she did events like the old USA Pro Challenge, but then she finishes her education. She won a few big gravel races along the way as well. A former, there you go, Amy D Foundation. Always a lot of love for Amy D Foundation and what they are doing to help get young women on bikes and out traveling the world, loving sport the same way Amy D did. But Lauren DiCrescenzo is another one of the great, not that different than Rachel Elliott. She was nearly dead. She comes back to not only recover from a TBI, but go on to do incredible things off the bike. I never thought we'd see her racing again, Nathan. I thought that would have been something that that Lauren did for a few years of her life and then moved on. But she is back and in full effect. Holy cow. This is a physiological phenomenon when you talk about Lauren DiCrescenzo. I am stunned to see this. She won the Crusher and the Tusher, Nathan. It's a ride that Burke Swindlehurst puts on. It was one of the original. It's not a gravel ride per se, but it was a very unique standalone event down near Beaver, Utah. It's very, very popular. It's one of I think Lifetime Fitness just bought the event, but Lauren DiCrescenzo is the defending champion. She used to ride for the DNA team. I'm going to throw it back to you, Nathan, but this is one heck of a ride. And look out, Sarah Gigante is coming as well.
Yeah, 7 watts per kilogram here coming from. Now, this is the most crucial point. This is where we saw the race one in the men's race. So I think this is where it's going to be raced. There's going to be one here as well, because at the steepest sections of any course are when you can make up the most time, the most distance, put the most pain into the riders here. Here comes Gigante. We saw this in the Epic KOM at the Tour of Gila, and now Gigante is coming on like a freight train. This climb is really what it's all about. It's all about watts per kilogram, and Gigante 6.8. Steven's trying to follow it up here, and really it's going to come down to a light, punchy rider that's going to take it down. We saw it in the men's race. We're seeing in this. We're seeing it here as well. And this is a rider out of Australia who's got huge palmares, Dave.
Yeah, a former world champion. She won our virtual Tour of the Gila with the singeing final day's attack there on the Gila Monster. But Sarah Gigante, I believe, Nathan, 19 years old, maybe 20, but on this team that Rachel Hederman directs. Very interesting point was made that this team has Olympians going back from the 90s, the 2000s, and this decade. When you look at Lauren Stevens now, hopefully she'll be, I think she will, to tell you the truth. I think that both Dygert and Stevens are going to be the cornerstones of our team in 2021 in Tokyo. But Sarah Gigante, you are the woman. We're going to go back and pick up Lauren Stevens now. Stevens just flogging herself like a rented mule. She is a beast, no doubt about it. It's not over. So Stevens has her teammate up the road. Look at this. The Arctic Fox out of Alaska. Who actually, she's an incredible story. Her origin story starts in Homer, Alaska, goes to New York City in Manhattan. Now she's a Stanford grad, a rowing standout, and Kristen Faulkner is the rookie of the year without any doubt, Nathan, for the Tibco team. And look where she's sitting in fifth. So, my goodness, Sarah Gigante pouring it on. Lauren Stevens is right there, 6.8 watts per kilo. She's going to be dimming right now in Dallas. People's lights are flickering on and off. They can't figure out what's going on. That's the Stevens effect right now. So Stevens right behind Sarah Gigante. This Australian is a monster.
Yeah, Gigante here now, 5.6.2, now 180 beats per minute now. Very similar to what we saw in the final over the top of the climb in the Epic KOM. So at the Tour of Gila. So it looks like showing the climbing legs. You saw how it worked out though on the flats there as well. You know, pure time trialist. The reality is it's more about just watts, just pure watts, a pure ruler type, you know, but when you get into the climb like this, I mean, this is some serious gradients. 15%, 16%, I think we even saw at one point. That is crazy. And it looks like Sarah Gigante is going to be taking this down here. She's almost to the finish line. 8 kilometers in total. It's going to flatten out in just a moment here. Stevens, 4 seconds. Not going to happen. But Nelson coming on. 2020 still representing here. She can make the catch. She's got to sprint to the line, though, as Stevens looks to try and stay away.
Yeah, this is a standout ride from Nelson here, the 2020 ride. Nathan, you made a really good point there. This is not the course that Chloe Dygert would choose, right? This is a very devil's den here. This is stage 1 of the Joe Martin stage race, and it looks like our Tour of the Gila virtual winner is going to go on to take the first leader's jersey here without any doubt about it. She's going to drive the final few nails home. Okay, Nathan. You
got to see the great job. This is an amazing effort. Now look at this effort, though. Look at Stevens. First place across the line is Gigante. Now Stevens head down, just killing herself. Oh, my goodness. What an effort there from Stevens. Nelson's going to be coming across the line next. Look at the pain. I mean, it's so obvious how hard these efforts are. So incredibly obvious. Now, next one across the line was Nelson, followed up by Faulkner there, it looks like, from Tibco 2020. Johnson, Tag Cycling. It looks like Rachel Elliott holding on after leading in.
Really holding on.
Huge effort here from Rachel Elliott. 6th place, Amy D Foundation. Laura Diaz Cretrenzo, she led things out, but faded there toward the end, it looks like. To 8th place, looks like Ramirez. Duncombe then. Curie there for 10th. It looks like Sidlick from FemEquip coming in next.
Boy, Nathan, this top 10 is exactly what you would expect. The cream rises to the top here at stage 1 of the Joe Martin stage race. We're filling in the top 20
Look at the Vision 3, the Vision 3 up here, all following each other in.
Wow.
Oh, the first Infinite Sars group, it looks like, with Christy Tracy coming on in. Good to see.
She had a nice win this week. She's on the roll right now out of Austin, Texas, Infinite Saris. Well, Sarah Gigante is going to be tough to beat with that Tibco team around her, but 2020 looks like here we got Chloe Dygert coming in now. Again, not a course that suited her, but Chloe's going to be awfully tough.
Let's go, trash can.
Couple of days.
Come on to the line, sprint it out. Here we go, Chloe. Oh man! And now to the line, it looks like FemEquip here gonna try and grab it. It looks like, and Chloe though making her last dig effort to the line, 25th on the day. Solid effort. Maybe not the best result that she was looking for on the day here, though, today.
Well, but definitely Tibco got what they came for. That's for sure. They had their cake. They're eating it, too, and they just took yours because that team put, 3 in the top 5, Nathan? I think Faulkner makes it 3 in the top, maybe even 3 in the top 4 here. As we take a look at McRosty finishing up. I like her vibe, that's for sure, the Revo rider.
Yeah, solid effort here coming in from McRosty. She's going to start cooling down. We'll start getting our results in just a moment here. It was really awesome to get all of the women's for interviews and everything beforehand. We'll probably jump in with Lauren as she was chasing down her teammate out there today. See if Lauren, it looks like she's ready for a little bit of a chat here, perhaps about how things ended up playing out on course here. Lauren, we're going to jump in with you and see how the audio is real quick here. Lauren, how was the race out there today?
Brutal. Doubling up today was a little much. Yeah, about 5 minutes in, I told Matt I felt really good, and that definitely changed when I hit the climb. But yeah, Sarah was able to take the win, and I held on for second, so we're set up really well for the GC going in the next 2 days. And I think Kristen was fourth. So yeah, I mean, Kristen doubled up today too. So Kristen and I have been full gas all week.
So this now puts you into the driver's seat for sure. Talk to me about doing 2 races in one day. No, I mean, what did you do in between the races here today?
I actually went to go buy the dehumidifier in between the races today.
So you went shopping.
Yeah, so the first race was on RGT, and it was a crit today. So definitely a different platform. So there was 2 hills in it. So yeah.
So talk to me about the strategy with the pacing. It looks like you really did get that right. Did you have the same talk with the other ladies on the team? Because Sarah Gigante seemed to be on the same program.
Yeah, I hope they had the same plan. I had a chance to talk to a few of them beforehand, but since I was on the call with you guys, I missed our team meeting. Yeah, hopefully they stuck to the same plan. I'll have a good chat with them after to see how it went.
So have you had a chance now? So I believe that you've been with Tibco, or I think you're in your 6th season. I'll let you correct me if I'm wrong. But Kristen Faulkner's in her 1st season. Have you ever been around a rider that has as much talent as she seems to have this quickly in the sport? I mean, I'm pretty stunned here. I haven't seen this since Evie Stevens.
Yeah, Kristen's a true athlete. You know, she came from rowing before this and swimming as a younger child, and so she's definitely a true athlete. But yeah, this is only, I believe, her 2nd, maybe 3rd year racing bikes at all, and 1st year professional.
So talk to me about your relationship with Joe Martin Stage Race. It's always been one of, these are the races that make the meat and potatoes of the American season, the Redlands, the Gilas, the Joe Martins. You've won stages there before. Have you ever won the overall?
I actually won the overall, the Cat 3 in the Cat 3 race in my 1st year of racing. So Joe Martin definitely has a nice place in my heart. Being in Arkansas, it's only a 6-hour drive from Dallas, so it's almost like a hometown race.
Talk to about how important that is, having stage racing in America. It's something that it seems like these races are really fighting to survive. It's an interesting time for racing. I can't imagine the landscape without the Redlands, the Gilas, the Joe Martins. Talk about how important they are to you.
Yeah, I mean, stage racing is what I love to do, having that chance to build a tactic that builds day after day, and a chance to, you know, a 1-hour crit, they're fun for sure, but there's so much more depth into a multi-day stage race.
Yeah, so when you look at it now, an uphill time trial, there's never going to be enough of these in the world. I wouldn't think for a rider like yourself. Today, I've always thought of you as just a pure road racer. Never really thought of you as a time trial talent. Is this something that maybe in the next phase of your career we see you become more of a specialist?
Well, I definitely love like the analytics behind time trialing, which I think is what makes me excel at it, and I have the focus, and I think that's where my talent for time trial comes. So yeah, I think you'll see more time trials out of me.
So now that you know the hip is sorted out and we're kind of back into the full-on mode of training and getting ready for racing again, when you look at riders like Amber Neben, who's racing, let's just a little bit older than you, clearly there doesn't really seem to be a ceiling. As long as you're enjoying doing this, I mean, can you see yourself making a run? Tokyo's not it for sure, but time trialing maybe being a bigger part of your career in this next phase?
You know, I love having time trialing as a piece of my career. I've never just wanted to go into like a pure time trialist because I love the team side of racing. And when you dial into time trialing, it's much more individual and you lose the focus of a team sport.
Every year, the team is different. Riders come, riders go. There's a different vibe. I don't know if it's because of this COVID-19 scenario, but it seems like this team is special this year with Tibco. There's a connection. There's a vibe. I mean, I wouldn't just say that either. In that, I don't know. It just seems like you guys have a special mix of athletes this year. It's a real shame that you don't get to hang out with them more in person. You guys would have a blast.
Yeah, it's definitely a shame that we don't get to hang out in person, but we have lots of opportunity to hang out on Zoom, and we're even starting a virtual team camp now. So we've split up into like pods. So we have 4-person groups, and for 2 weeks before, and you're gonna like complete an activity together, and then we're gonna switch the groups up, and definitely we're finding ways to connect without seeing each other.
So again, when we wrap up today at Time Trial, we've got 2 long, hard road races. The team well set up for that. So, boy, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? The way, I guess, as far as defending we're going to be looking at somewhere close to 100 kilometers of racing. That's a long time to defend out in the world of Zwift, especially with someone who can time trial the way Chloe Dygert can. You get her out and attack late, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean,
although again,
both stages are difficult stages, but especially that Richmond stage, I mean, I think you're going to see a big shakeup in GC, which, you don't think about that on Zwift so much. You think that all the strong riders survive and it's the strong riders stay in the front group. But I think with a stage like Richmond, you're going to see a GC shakeup, almost like the final day of Redlands, like Sunset. I think that's what you're going to see.
Well, good, because that's the most exciting bike racing there is. I always appreciate the show that you put on out there, Lauren. So that's Lauren Stevens, everybody. We're going to let her take a break. It has been a long day, Nathan. A couple of races. Yeah, thanks, Lauren. Really appreciate you. Well, Bologna did not disappoint, Nathan. This was a fantastic day of racing. So few world champions jumping in, and one of them is the junior road world champion from a couple of years ago, Tour de Gila virtual winner. Boy, her Palmares are amazing. Sarah Gigante taking the win. Lauren Stevens, silver. Courtney Nelson, there's your breakthrough ride today. Courtney, congratulations on a bronze medal. As we'll be looking at this GC battle and how that sorts out. Breakthrough ride. Well, we're done calling her a breakthrough rider. She's arrived in her first season as a pro. Kristen Faulkner in 4th. Emily Johnston, the Canadian, in 5th. Rachel Elliott holds on for 6th. Lauren DiCrescenzo in 7th, Andrea Ramirez in 8th, Lizzie Duncombe in 9th, and then Catherine Curie in 10th. So there's our top 10. You can see the time gaps, 3 seconds back to Stevens, or 3.5 back to Stevens, almost, we'll call it 14 to Courtney Nelson. So it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow, Nathan.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. We are actually going to jump in real quickly, everybody, here. Post-race interview with Chloe Dygert. See how things went down with Chloe over there in the trash campaign cave. And if it was nothing but trash can out there today, maybe. Chloe, how's it going, Chloe? It looked like a little bit of frustration. During the race out there today.
It was very interesting. I think all these women need to go to World Championships. I think this is great. I need to show off the world. That was very impressive.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'll put it that way, Chloe. I understand. Nathan, it is a little challenging for the athletes that come in with the legit Palmares to watch. Sometimes you see the numbers are a little crazy out there.
Yeah, we'll have to see how things work out. I mean, we always need to, we try and give the benefit of the doubt as much as we possibly can out here. And Chloe looked like a really serious effort out there, though, today. Went out kind of hard. I want to talk about your race, though. You went out super hard. You were following Rachel's wheel. Rachel, I think, as far as all the athletes go, one of the most well-known amongst them all. What were you thinking when Rachel went out front? I was just wondering.
Yeah, again, I'm very, very impressive. I was on the flats there holding maybe a little under what I was at World Championships. So, very, very impressive ride from her. I just, again, I mean, it comes down to Zwift experience as well, I'd say. But again, I just, I guess I don't really know what to say.
Yeah,
Very
gotcha.
impressive rides.
So then, are you looking forward to the race tomorrow? Then KOM finish out on the Fuego would be Fuego Flats in Titans Grove.
Yeah, it'll be a fun one. Looking forward to it.
All right, sounds good, Chloe. Sounds good. Thanks, Lai. Appreciate you jumping in with us. Really do, really do. Good luck tomorrow with the rest of the team. Looked like your teammate had a solid ride there. I think up in the what was it? I believe Courtney. Third place for Courtney. They're only 14 seconds back, so that's pretty solid.
Yeah, super awesome. Great ride from the teammates. Yeah, looking forward to going in tomorrow with them up there on GC.
Awesome. Great job. All right, great. Thanks a lot, Chloe. Appreciate your time, and we'll see you out there tomorrow. Good luck.
Thanks.
Well, Chloe, obviously a little bit of frustration on the day, and looking to hopefully be able to throw down, hopefully, for Courtney, though. I mean, Courtney only 14 seconds back. She can definitely throw some support out there to chase down anything, and she's got a huge engine.
Yeah, it's always, when you look at it, these time trials, doing it in this format, I hope that we get to do more of this. That's for sure, because it's so interesting to see in real time where your competitors are. So again, congratulations going out to the Tibco SVB team. Once again, Sarah Gigante. We're going to be talking about her. If she chooses to race, she could be involved in the next 4 Olympiads. I know that, believe me, in real life, Chloe Dygert is an absolute monster. She'll be, it was interesting to hear, Nathan, her talking about that World Championships where it really ignited something again. And Chloe very well could represent the United States at 6 Olympic Games if things go according to plan. So this is the front end of a whole new generation of riders, that's for sure, as we get a chance to kind of hit the reset button with riders like that, and then celebrate some amazing riders like Rachel Elliott, Lawrence Stevens today. Again, never disappoints.
Yeah, absolutely awesome ride out there today. Big shout out as well to Frank Cundiff and Mallory out there for throwing their feeds over our way as well. Good ride there. It looked like by Mallory as well, top 25, I think. So solid effort there, and we'll see how Revo ends up playing out on the days. We'll have a lot more coming at you throughout the weekend. We've got a lot of live riders lined up throughout the next 2 stages. Tomorrow, we're going to be out on the Sand and Sequoias course for 3.5 laps. We've got a special KOM finish, actually, 3 laps, plus the KOM as the finish line out on the Sand and Sequoias. So Fuego Flats into Titans Grove, going to be a little bit of climbing. And then we've got Richmond Worlds, obviously, on Sunday. So going to be great. 2 more stages. Joe Martin stage race, virtual, men's and women's. Tomorrow we start at 11:45, I want to say. 11:45. Oh, no, I think it's 11. 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, excuse me. Central Standard Time. 11 o'clock Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. BST. And then we are going to be live after that. We'll be live all the way through. And then the women's race is at 12:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, Dave, great racing out there today, and we'll be back tomorrow, everybody. Make sure to tune in. All of that is scheduled on our Facebook as well as YouTube. Dave, great job out there. Lots of fun. Everybody, we appreciate you tuning in. And as always, we're going to say goodbye and a big old ride on. Cheers, everybody.